Okay, this is material from Module 8, Introduction to Graphing. If you will please print out the handout that goes along with this on the website and then take notes. It'll be a big help when you do the skills check. Okay, number 1, graph x equals 3. Okay, if you'll first draw a graph going crossways, and then x numbers are horizontal, 1, 2, 3. So x equals 3 is right here, and since we need to draw a line in this case, it's going to be up and down this way. Now, if it was just a straight line, you'd put a dot at x equals 3. But since this is a two-space graph, x and y, we draw a vertical line through 3. Okay, tell me if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. First, we need to find the slope. So on the first one, subtract 2x from this and the right side. So you get negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 4. Divide by negative 3. So turn this into a 1, turn that into 2/3, and turn that into a negative 4/3. So negative 2 over negative 3, which is 2/3, and negative 4/3. Okay, this one, subtract x, so you get 2y. Subtract the x, minus x plus 5, divide by 2. So now we have a negative 1/2 plus 5/2. Okay, look at these slopes. Parallel slopes, they're the same number. 2/3 and 2/3. So in this case, we have 2/3 and negative 1/2. Since they're not the same, they're not parallel. All right, with perpendicular, one is positive, one is negative. We have that. But they're also reciprocal. They're flipped over. So we have 2/3. This one would need to be 3/2. So we'd need 2/3 and negative 3/2 for perpendicular. So it's not perpendicular, it's not parallel, it's neither one. Okay, number 3, one point is 7, 1. Then the midpoint is 0, negative 3. We need the other point. Okay, the midpoint formula, you add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2, and we have 3 points. We have 7, 1 as one end, 0, negative 3 is the middle, and we don't know what the first one is, so I have x, y as my first one, 0, negative 3 as my middle one, and 7, 1 as my right one. Now the middle, you take the x number plus this x number and divide by 2. So x plus 7 divided by 2 has to equal the middle x number, 0. Now we need to add our y numbers. This y is just the letter y. This y is the number 1 and divide by 2. So it's y plus 1 divided by 2 is equal to the middle, negative 3. So you add the two outsides, divide by 2, you're averaging them, and it gives you the middle one. Now this one, if you multiply by 2, this 2 cancels, you have x plus 7, 2 times 0 is 0. Subtract 7, and you get x is negative 7. With this one, multiply by 2, you get x plus 1 is equal to negative 6. Subtract 1, and y is also negative 7, so our point is negative 7 for x and negative 7 for y. Okay, we want an equation with a slope of 12 over 13 through negative 7, 3. Well, I always use a point slope formula to start with. That's y minus the y number, which is 3. The slope, which is m, 12/13, then x minus the x number, negative 7. So the point slope formula is always y minus y, and then your slope, then x minus x. Okay, when you get rid of this 13 by multiplying y by 13 gives you 13y. Multiply 3 times 13 gives you 39. And on this side, the 13 will cancel, and you'll have 12x, and 2 negatives make a plus. Okay, 12 times x is 12x. 12 times 7 is 84. And then let's put it in standard form. So I'm going to move my 12x by subtraction. So I have negative 12x, 13y, and I want my numbers on this side, so I add 39 to the right side. Okay, now with standard form, we need to start with a positive instead of a negative. So this 12 turns positive, 13 turns negative, and 84 plus 39 is 123, and it turns negative. We're changing all of our signs. 12 turn positive, 13 turn negative, and 123 turn negative. Okay, number 5. X is the number of toys, Y is the cost. We have 8 toys, 23, so it's 823. We have $43, 11 toys, so it's going to be 11 and 43. Okay, X is the number of toys, so in this case it's 11. Y is the cost. It's that way. Okay, which quadrant? -1, 5. Okay, if we draw a little graph, first quadrant is on the upper right, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Okay, -1 means I'm going to go left 1, and 5 is up and down, so I'm going to up 5. So if I start at 0 and I go left 1, up 5, I'm over here in the second quadrant. Okay, 3 means right 3. First number is left and right. Second number is up and down, so it's right 3, down 4. So I'm going to go right 3 and then down, comes over here into the fourth quadrant. Number 7, find each. We want the slope. To get the slope, we have to get y by itself. Subtract 2x. So you have 5y equals -2x plus 10. You need to divide by 5. Y is -2 divided by 5 plus 10 divided by 5 makes 2. Now the number in front of x is my slope, -2/5. The y-intercept is this number at the end, 2. Or if you want to, 0, 2, if you want to make a point. Now we're going to graph it. Okay, I'm going to make a graph. I'm going to start at the y-intercept, the number 2 on the y-axis, which is right here. Go up 2 units. Then I'm going to use my slope. -2 means down, and then 5 units to the right. So I count down 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I went down 2, right 5. And then I just connect those with a line. Okay, completing a table. If I plug in 0 for x, I get 0 minus 2y equals 12. Divide by -2, and so you get y is -6. So this point right here is 0 for x, -6 for y. Okay, suppose I put in 0 for y. 3x minus 0 equals 12. Divide by 3, so x is 4. So my x value is 4. And my y value is 0. Plug in 2. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 2y is equal to 12. I'm plugging in x. Okay, subtract 6 gives you -2y is equal to 12 minus 6 is 6. Divide by -2, so y is -3. So we get -3. Okay, plug in 3 for y. So this 2 times 3 is 6, so it's 3x minus 6 equals 12. Add the number 6, makes 18. Divide by 3 makes 6, so we have 6 and 3. Okay, finding slope. The slope is we subtract our y numbers and we subtract our x numbers. Subtract the y's, subtract the x's. Now I happen to pick the second point first, -2 minus -5. -7 minus -3. Okay, this turns into a plus. So it's -2 plus 5, which is 3. -7 plus 3, which is -4. So it's 3 over -4, or you can put the negative on the top or in front. Number 10, find AB, that's the distance, and find the midpoint. The distance is, you take the x numbers, subtract them, and then square it. Take the y numbers, 6 minus -4, and then square that. So we're subtracting our x's, subtracting our y's, and squaring them. Okay, 3 and 4 makes -7 squared is 49. 6 plus 4 is 10 squared is 100, so you get the square root of 149. That doesn't reduce. Okay, midpoint. Okay, we add the x numbers, 4 and -3. Divide by 2. 6 and -4 divided by 2. We add them. Put a plus in between. Okay, 4 plus a -3 is 1/2. 6 plus -4 is 2/2. So we have 1/2. And then this is 2/2, which is 1. Okay, number 11, graphing. X is less than or equal to 3. Okay, we knew x is 3 over here. It's a vertical line. Since it's equal to, we're going to draw a solid line. Now, less than is smaller, so it's this side over here gets shaded. Okay, now on that particular one, if it's just a number line, you would have a dot on 3 and less than. But if it's a two-space graph, it looks like that. Okay, 12. Find each slope of a vertical line. With a vertical line, it's going up and down. So we're going to go up some number of units, but we're not going to go right at all. So it's 0. So I'm going to go up some distance, call it 1, 2, whatever, and 0 right. Now, if you don't go right, that you're dividing by 0, which is called undefined. Now, a horizontal line, it's flat. It does not go up, so the 0 on the top, but it does go right or left. So it's 0 divided by 1, which is 0. So a horizontal line has a 0 slope. Vertical line has undefined slope. Okay, suppose we want to graph this line. We need y equals, so subtract 3x from both sides, so it's negative 3x minus 12. We need to divide by 4. So it's y negative 3/4, and 12 divided by 4 is minus 3. Okay, negative 3 is where we're going to start. That's our y-intercept. So I want 1, 2, 3. Negative 3 on the y-axis. Then I'm going to go down 3 and right 4. So I count 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 4 over. So it should be right about here. Then I draw a line between them. And that's my line. 14, write the slope-intercept equation. So we have slope, negative 3/4. We have b is 1/4. So just plug them in. Negative 3/4 plus 1/4. Okay, write the slope-intercept form. If I have a point perpendicular, okay, perpendicular, I need a slope. So I solve for y. Negative 2x plus 6. Now perpendicular, you take this negative 2, flip it over, make it a half, and instead of negative, we make it positive. Okay, perpendicular is the opposite, and it's flipped over. So negative turns positive, flip it over, becomes 1/2. So now I have a slope, I have a point. Go back to my point slope formula. Y minus 5, my slope 1/2, x minus the x number 2. So y minus the y number, then the slope, x minus the x number. I'm going to distribute these because this will cancel out fairly nicely. So it's y minus 5, 1/2 x minus 1. Add 5 to both sides, so it's 1/2 x plus 4. Okay, write the slope equation, slope-intercept equation of the line through 2 points. We need a slope. Negative 6 minus 4, my y numbers. My x numbers, negative 5 minus negative 2. The top becomes negative 10. The bottom becomes negative 3, or positive 10 over 3 if you reduce and simplify the negatives. So I have 10/3 for my slope. I'm going to pick this point. You can pick that point, doesn't matter. Okay, y minus 4, my slope, 10/3, x minus my x number, negative 2. Now in this case, I'm going to multiply by 3 because this isn't a multiple of 3. So multiply 3 times y, 3 times 4, and 3 times this fraction will cancel. Distribute 10x and 20. Add 12 to both sides to move this 12 over because we're trying to get y by itself. So plus 12, you get 3y is 32. And divide everything by 3. Y is 10/3 x plus 32/3. Okay, we want the slope and the intercept. Slope's the number in front of the x. Intercept is the number at the very, very end. Slope is 3/7, and the intercept is negative 4. Okay, we want to graph this. Well, we got to put it in y equals mx plus b form. Move the 4 over, so it's 6x minus 4. Divide by 2. And we haven't had any negatives in there, so we don't flip our inequality. Okay, we start at negative 2, which is right here, down here at negative 2. We're going to go up 3 over 1 because the number 3 is 3 over 1. So 1, 2, 3 over 1 should be right here. Okay, it's greater than, it's not equal to, so it gets a dotted line this time when you go through it. And then greater than is above the line. So I have a point, I'm going to shade up here someplace, above it. So I'm going to shade all the way over here above where the line is. Okay, 19, graph the line with a slope of negative 3/5 and the point 0, 6. So I'm going to go to the point 0, 6. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right up here. Down 3, right 5. 1, 2, 3. And count right 5 should be right over here. And I connect the dots to make the line. Okay, number 20, we want to find the slope. Well, we need to put it and subtract the 3x. So you get 7y is negative 3x plus 14. Divide by 7, you get negative 3/7 plus 14 divided by 7 is 2. Okay, subtract 7. All right, give me the slope is negative 3/7. In this case, subtract 7. So you get negative 3y is negative 7x plus 3. Divide by negative 3. Negative 7 divided by negative 3 is positive 7/3. Negative 3 divided by, positive 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. This slope is 7/3. Okay, if you look at these, I flip them over. 3 over 7, 7 over 3. One's positive, one's negative. That makes it perpendicular. A positive and a negative, and they're flipped over. That makes them perpendicular. Okay, 21, finally, we want negative 3y equals 12 to be graphed. Divided by negative 3, which means y is negative 4. Y numbers, or when you graph them, they're going to be horizontal lines. So I'm going to count down to negative 4 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and draw a horizontal line through that. So that is y equals negative 4. So that goes through most of the things that are in section 8.